So when I say the word entrepreneur, who pops into your head? Is it Steve Jobs, Thomas Edison, maybe one of the sharks from Shark Tank? Right? These larger-than-life figures have really built up this legend of what an entrepreneur is. But what does it actually mean to be one today, in the real world? Okay, let's dive into this and really try to separate the myths from the reality. And speaking of those legends, this thought from Steve Jobs is the perfect place to start. This really gets to the heart of it all. It's not just about a cool product or a business idea. It's about a deep belief in people, about empowering them with the right tools to create something amazing. That's the spirit we're going to be exploring here. And of course, this whole idea of innovation is nothing new. Entrepreneurs have always been the ones pushing for change. I mean, think about it. Back in the 1800s, you had Thomas Edison, who didn't just invent stuff, he built entire systems around his inventions. Then, in the 1900s, you get two buddies who create Harley-Davidson, a brand so powerful it made it through the Great Depression. And then, much more recently, Ingvar Kamprad, who started IKEA when he was just a teenager. So you've got the inventor, the brand builders, the global retailer. What's the one thing that connects them all? Well, if we put the legends aside for a second and just look at the dictionary definition, it's this. An entrepreneur is someone who takes an idea, builds a business, manages it, and this is the most important part, assumes the risk for its success. It's that last piece, that risk, that gets so misunderstood. And this is where it gets really interesting, because entrepreneur isn't just one thing. It's this huge spectrum of people. You've got your small local businesses, then there are the home-based operations. I mean, even Apple and Disney started that way. You've got your online giants, your inventors, your serial entrepreneurs who just love the chase, and even lifestyle entrepreneurs who build a business specifically so they can live the life they want. There is absolutely no one-size-fits-all here. All right, let's start busting some myths. And this is the big one. Are entrepreneurs just high-risk gamblers, betting the farm on a single roll of the dice? So the myth is that they're just reckless, but the reality? Oh, it couldn't be more different. Successful entrepreneurs are masters of risk assessment. They almost never make a move until they've looked at every single angle. They don't ignore risk, they understand it, they manage it, and they do everything they can to minimize it. They're calculated, not careless. Okay, so myth number 2. Is this whole entrepreneur thing something you're just born with? Do you have that special entrepreneur gene or not? The reality is, nope. Experts pretty much all agree that entrepreneurship is not some trait you inherit. It's a set of skills, a mindset, a process, all things that can be learned, practiced, and developed over time. The bottom line is, entrepreneurs are made, not born. So if they're not all just natural-born risk takers, what is it that drives them? Is it really just about the money? Is getting rich the only reason to do it? Well, look, making money is definitely a factor, no doubt about it. But this chart shows it's often not even the main reason. Look at what's higher, self-sufficiency. For a lot of people, the biggest reward is that feeling of building something that's truly yours, of being in control of your own destiny. And right up there with money is the desire to help the community, to create jobs, to offer something of value. And here's a myth that's really big in our modern world. With all the talk about startups and Silicon Valley, it's so easy to think you have to be some kind of tech genius to succeed. But is that really true? Do you need to be a high-tech wizard? This quote just says it all, doesn't it? Solid business fundamentals will always, always beat flashy technology. A brilliant tech idea with no way to make money, well, that's just a hobby. But a simple, even low-tech business with healthy profit margins, that's a real sustainable company. So, if it's not about being a gambler or a tech guru, what is in the real toolkit? Well, it starts with passion and a vision. That ability to see what could be when nobody else does. But that's not enough. You need the self-confidence to get started and the sheer tenacity to get through the tough times. And believe me, there will be tough times. And then on a daily basis, it all comes down to a laser-like focus on getting things done and being resourceful enough to solve any problem that comes your way. And from a 30,000-foot view, the path can look deceptively simple. Step 1, have a great idea that people will actually pay for. Step 2, make a solid plan. Step 3, execute that plan day in and day out. It sounds pretty straightforward, but there's a huge, crucial step that has to happen before any of this. Because the real first step, the one that matters most, it's not on a business plan. It's all in your head. Before you do anything else, you have to ask yourself some really deep personal questions. What do I want to get out of this? What kind of business will actually give me that life? What am I going to have to risk and sacrifice to get there? And then, the most honest question of all, am I really okay with that? Can I accept those risks? It's just like what Tony Robbins said, right? Setting goals as the first step in turning the invisible into the visible. That personal clarity, that's what turns a vague dream into something real, something you can actually aim for. It's foundation for everything else you're going to build. Because let's be totally honest about what this path actually is. It is not just a job, it's a massive commitment. It means risking your financial security, your social life, huge chunks of your time and energy. You are literally putting years of your life on the line for something that is, by its very nature, a high-risk gamble. So, after all that, after taking apart the legends, busting the myths, and getting real about the sacrifices, it all boils down to one final, powerful question. It's not about having the perfect idea or being born for this. The real question is much simpler and it's much more personal. Are you ready to take a bet on yourself?